Hey, all my restorers out there, I need y'all to use this audio. I need y'all to show them the problem, show them what you started off with, and I want you to show them folks how blessed your hands is.
I woke up this morning thinking, wow, my hair is growing so much, and I'm not getting my retie for like another 2 to 3 weeks. And then I found out that I forgot my retie appointment was today, but I knew.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a retie conversation kind of day. And the other day, I was fortunate enough to be asked to ask the question that I just absolutely have to answer. That question is about your retie schedule. If you don't know, maybe you're not on your lock journey yet, the word retie is short for retightening, and retightening is the practice of taking your new growth and bringing the new growth into your lock. If you're working with a stylist,
having your retie appointments
is something that you want to do with consistency, and we maintain that consistency by setting a schedule. So when the question was asked, how did you determine when you can extend your retie time? I want to just approach this subject from my own experience because I know my own experience pretty well. But when I first got my locks established in April of 2021, I knew exactly 4 weeks from the date of my install, I would have to come back to have my first retie. If I think back to 2021, when it was time for my first retie, I was very much like, nah, it's not time for me to bring this hair, into the lock. Like, my hair barely grew, in that span of time. At least that's what it felt like to me. And the 4-week period was a really good amount of time for my loctician to have me back in her chair to take a look at the work that she did. How did my hair behave in the last 4 weeks? Was that the right locking pattern that she gave me? How quickly is my hair growing? So at the time, I thought that the only reason for me to return back so quickly is for my new growth. But I later learned.
What I really later learned is that it really doesn't matter what the schedule is for your loctician because your hair has a schedule of its own, okay? Hey you guys, this is Nicole. I've been on my lock journey for almost 3 years now with thin, low density hair, and I am here to help you on your lock journey so you won't make the same mistakes, child.
Yeah, you return back in the very beginning in a month's time, just as like a safeguard, just a layer of security for your hair, for your locks. Child, it didn't take me long to be like, okay, I think 4 weeks is a bit too soon because as someone who has low density hair, you need all the strands on your scalp that you can get. I always like when my hair grows in because then I have additional coverage on my scalp. And when you have low density, the scalp is always on blast. It showed when I got installed, and then 4 weeks later, here I am back to have it retied again. And it's like, I want to stop showing this scalp. Can we let my hair grow in a little bit? That was really how I felt in the beginning. But I definitely just went with the plan because I chose a loctician who I trusted, whose experience I respected. So she didn't have no fight from me. After that first retie, I asked the question, would it be possible if we can push it back a week? Because I felt that if I can just get an additional week, maybe I could enjoy my locks a little bit more. And all I wanted was for my hair to grow in. Like, yeah, it's scalp showing, but come on, new growth. And then it seemed like by the time my new growth started showing in, time to get retied again. My loctician was extremely open to the conversation and also open to exploring and seeing how me and my hair would do. So I hung out at the 5-week schedule for a little bit, 2 more appointments at 5 weeks. And when I came back in on that second 5-week appointment, that's when I thought to have another conversation. There's one thing I do want to point out. I got established in April. I didn't have such a strong rapport with my natural hair being in a locked pattern. By the end of the summer, I was a little bit more empowered because now I could come to my retie appointment giving my loctician information that she would not have had information about how my hair was behaving, information about my care, how I took care of my hair. Because that's something I feel is crucial when we look at a retie schedule. It's not just about coming in on a certain number of weeks. I do know that some people like to keep a certain budget, so they make sure that they are getting their hair retied within a certain time frame. But for me, it was more about watching my hair and seeing what my hair actually required. I can say that I got into this habit by way of working with my loctician. There isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. We did the 5-week appointment. By the fall, I kind of noticed that my hair was not growing as quickly as maybe the 5 weeks, right? Because we moved it back a little bit, but I was still showing up to my retie appointments feeling like, I just spent the last month with all this scalp showing, and finally I have some hair that's coming through and is giving me a little more coverage. But here I am back in the chair, back in the seat at the 5-week mark. And I remember specifically, and I think my loctician will probably remember this too, but I remember saying to her that it just felt like I was constantly with new locks. Like I did not feel that I was getting the opportunity to enjoy that older look when you have some new growth coming in. When your hair is thin, density is low, the new growth comes in like it's not that plentiful. Like, I didn't feel like I was asking for much. It's just like, girl, please let me enjoy this little shadow that I have on my scalp right now. I have a sense of humor about it. My stylist also has a sense of humor about it. But she also heard me. So she asked me. I felt that if she gave me 2 more weeks, that would put me in a sweet spot, because that's really what I was looking for. I was looking for the sweet spot, that place where my new growth would come in without giving me any issues, without having any locks marrying, while at the same time, I did not want it to grow too much that my locks would just begin to start hanging. There's a slippery slope with the way my hair grows. It's this little section here that I just bundled up because I don't want to snag anything. And these here, there's a lot of growth here. And I could just use help just cleaning up these parts so I won't break anything off. One day is hardly any new growth, and then 5 days later, I can put 2 fingers through my new growth. But I told her I thought I would be comfortable with 7 weeks. And I do remember her asking me, did I feel that I would be able to manage the new growth as it came in? So I think that if you are someone who is considering moving your retie schedule back, that you consider your upkeep. I was a person, and I'm still a person, who likes to go through my locks to make sure that no locks are married. I like to make sure that all my locks have movement. So I'm constantly giving my hair the nice finger comb because I like my hair to have body. So I was that client. I am that woman who likes to take care of her hair. I did say that to my loctician, and she completely understood, and she was game. And we moved my schedule again from 5-week reties to 7 weeks. I have to say, 7 weeks was my jam, but in full transparency, if you do relate to what I'm about to say, please let me know. Please leave a comment. My hair, even though it does grow slowly, there are times when it's growing super, super fast, and there are times when it's growing a little bit slower. I feel that because it's my hair, I feel responsible for eyeballing how my hair is progressing or how it isn't progressing. And then that way I can take that information with me to my retie appointment. I consider my stylist a partner in my journey. I don't put the responsibility on her to know every single thing about my hair because she only sees me once every 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think about it. She reties my hair, but then I go away for 2 months. So really, the actual hair care, the actual maintenance falls in my wheelhouse. We rocked for 7 weeks, and it was amazing. But then I was just like, hey, I noticed my hair is growing a little slower. Can we just push it to 9 weeks? So at one point we did go to 9 weeks. I like 9 weeks, but sometimes 9 weeks is the right amount of time. And sometimes 9 weeks would be like, girl, get in that chair. How did I determine when it was time to extend my retie? Basically, a practice of exploration. It was a lot of conversation, having open and honest conversations with my loctician. It also has a lot to do with the fact that I take full responsibility for my hair so that I'm not expecting my loctician to actually do things for my hair that I am not already doing for myself. It is a far more empowering experience to come to those retie appointments with updates and information. That way, your loctician is always on board and you both are always on the same page regarding what's right for your hair. Because what works for me may not work for you and vice versa. And it's all good because it's hair. And our hair loves to be in its natural state. And our hair is very forgiving. You know what I'm saying? If it's time for you to change your retie schedule, what's the criteria? How are you going to determine that it's time to start?
Hey you guys, this is Nicole. Thank you for watching this video. If you don't know already, you just watched my very first podcast episode on my squeaky clean new podcast, Loc Journey Realness, hosted by Nicole O, aka Nicole Loc Queen. If you are someone who is somehow attached to the Loc Journey, maybe you are on it right now, maybe you are thinking about it right now, maybe you are one of the people standing behind the chair when we come in and get our hair done. No matter what, if you have a story that opened the eyes to how real the Loc Journey is, drop down in the comment section and get on my show.